Willie Nelson never quite belonged to the version of stardom the industry tried to shape for him. He didn't dress the part, didn't smooth out his voice, and never chased approval. Yet somehow, he became one of the most enduring figures in American music. His voice carried something deeper than polish. It carried truth. Over decades, across countless albums and performances, he built a connection with listeners that felt personal, almost private. People didn't just hear his songs, they recognized themselves in them. That's what made him different. He wasn't trying to impress the world. He was trying to be honest in it. And in a space where image often wins over authenticity, that choice quietly turned him into something far more lasting than a star. It made him a constant. A childhood shaped by absence. Willie's story begins in Abbott, Texas, a place where life was simple but rarely easy. Born in 1933 during the Great Depression, he entered a world already struggling. When his parents left early in his life, he and his sister were raised by their grandparents, who gave them structure, faith, and music. It wasn't a perfect childhood, but it was a meaningful one. His grandmother introduced him to music, placing a guitar in his hands at a young age. That instrument quickly became more than just a hobby. It became a companion. In a life marked by quiet absence, music filled the gaps. It gave him a voice before he fully understood how to use one. And while he didn't have much growing up, he had something powerful, a way to turn emotion into sound. Learning life the hard way. By the time he was a teenager, Willie was already working long hours, picking cotton and doing farm labor. School never quite held his attention the way music did. He started performing locally, earning small amounts, but gaining something far more valuable: experience. He listened to everything around him: gospel in church, country on the radio, blues drifting through the air. All of it shaped his style. He didn't realize it then, but he was building a sound that didn't belong to any one genre. It was raw, emotional, and deeply human. Those early years taught him resilience. Nothing came easy, but nothing stopped him either. He kept playing, kept writing, and slowly began forming the identity that would later define him. The long road of rejection. When Willie left Texas, he carried ambition, but very little direction. He tried different jobs, selling products, working odd roles, but nothing stuck. Music was always there, quietly waiting. He performed in small venues and worked radio jobs, slowly building confidence. But when he reached Nashville, the industry didn't know what to do with him. His voice didn't fit their expectations. It wasn't smooth enough, polished enough. Ironically, the same qualities that made him unique were seen as flaws. Still, he kept writing. Songs like Crazy and Hello Walls became hits for other artists, proving his talent even as he struggled personally. It was a frustrating time, watching others succeed with his work while he remained in the background. Success without recognition. During the early years in Nashville, Willie was respected as a songwriter, but overlooked as a performer. His songs were climbing charts, but his own recordings barely made an impact. The industry wanted him to adapt, to change his sound, to fit a mold that never felt right. And for a while, he tried. But something always felt off. The records lacked the soul he carried on stage. He wasn't failing because he lacked talent. He was struggling because he refused to become someone else. That quiet resistance would later define his entire career. At the time, though, it simply felt like being stuck. Successful in one sense, invisible in another. A turning point through loss. Sometimes change comes quietly, and sometimes it comes all at once. For Willie, it came when his home burned down in 1970. It was a moment that forced reflection. Standing there, watching everything disappear, he realized something important. He didn't need to keep trying to fit into a system that didn't understand him. That loss became a kind of reset. He left Nashville behind and returned to Texas, carrying only what mattered. It wasn't just a physical move, it was a creative one. He stopped chasing approval and started trusting himself fully. The rise of the outlaw spirit. Back in Texas, Willie found something he hadn't experienced before, an audience that accepted him exactly as he was. This is where the outlaw country movement took shape, alongside artists like Waylon Jennings. Their music was less polished, more real, and deeply connected to everyday life. Albums like Red-Headed Stranger proved that simplicity could be powerful. The industry had doubted him for years, but now the same traits they rejected were being celebrated. It wasn't just a comeback, it was a redefinition of what country music could be. Facing hardships without breaking. Even after success, life didn't become easy. Willie faced financial struggles, including major tax issues that nearly took everything he had. But instead of stepping away, he leaned into what he knew best: music. He toured constantly, recorded new material, and worked his way back. What stood out wasn't just his resilience, but his attitude. He didn't pretend things were perfect. He faced challenges openly and kept moving forward. That honesty made people respect him even more. He wasn't just singing about life, he was living it in full view. Grief, family, and reflection. As the years passed, Willie experienced deep personal loss, including the death of his son and close friends like Waylon Jennings and a Merle Haggard. These moments shaped him in ways that fame never could. His music grew quieter, more reflective. He didn't hide from grief. He carried it and somehow turned it into something meaningful. At the same time, he became more present in his family life, building stronger connections with his children and grandchildren. It was a different chapter, less about chasing success, more about understanding what truly mattered. Aging with purpose and grace. In his later years, Willie faced health challenges, but he never stopped showing up. His performances became more deliberate, his voice more weathered, but the emotion remained unchanged. If anything, it became stronger. He adjusted his pace, took better care of himself, but never lost the desire to play. There's something powerful about watching someone continue, not out of obligation, but out of love for what they do. He wasn't trying to prove anything anymore. He was simply being himself, fully and honestly. A legacy built on truth. Willie Nelson's legacy isn't just about music, it's about authenticity. He showed that you don't have to fit in to succeed. You don't have to follow the rules to matter. What you need is honesty, persistence, and the courage to stay true to yourself, even when the world pushes back. His songs continue to resonate because they come from a real place. They don't pretend. They don't hide. They simply exist as they are, just like him. And in a world that often values perfection, that kind of truth is rare.